Okay, welcome to this edition of the Ramsey Dewey podcast, featuring Kyle Rozewski, reoccurring guest on this podcast. If you don't know him, he is the founder and head coach of Animal MMA here in Shanghai, China. Awesome dude.
Well, thank you.
How you doing?
I'm not bad, Ramsey. How you doing today?
Good. It's fascinating how, in spite of the fact that Kyle practically got his leg torn off the other day, he's still saying not bad. Not bad. I don't know if that's just the state of being a fighter or just the state of being a man. You can have like an arm missing and still be like, I'm fine.
I don't know if I'm much of a fighter or a man anymore, but I'm okay.
Oh man. So let's talk about the leg for a minute. What happened there, Kyle? What happened?
Was rolling jiu-jitsu with one of our other coaches, and I just got a foot lock quick, and it was those things that you don't feel any pain, nothing hurts, and then all of a sudden you hear a loud pop, and it was just, we both kind of stopped, and everything was okay for like maybe an hour, and then I went to stand on it and just ballooned up, and it got blue real quick, and some ligament damage, but
yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this because this happened the other day. We had a little conversation about it, and I'm at a loss for words here.
I think we need some more sleep, both of us.
Man, I'm sleep deprived, to be honest. Okay.
It's start of the school year for everybody, so we're all feeling it. Dads are feeling it. If you're a dad out there watching this and you have time, good on you. Good on you.
Indeed. How are your kids doing, by the way?
They're okay. My daughter just started school, so I mean that's different. Her and my wife get up and they're out by like 6:30 every morning, and of course my son sleeps with us. So
Sleeps.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's a whole new chapter going in, pretty much. I don't know if I've ever been this tired, and then it all happened at the same time. We're opening the gym, so it was just.
Yeah.
When it rains, it pours, and man, it was flooding. It was flooding, but all is well. All is well.
I remember what I wanted to talk about. Students trying to kill the coach.
Yes.
Yes. I've experienced this many times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certain you've experienced this.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
When there's a hierarchy in a gym.
Mm-hmm.
And like in a jiu-jitsu class, it's pretty obvious because you have the hierarchy literally printed on on the color of your belt. And so if you're a higher belt, the lower belts are gunning for you. In an MMA class where you don't have a uniform or rank on you, it's generally the coach who has the target on him.
I agree with that. And it does seem like it's not anything out of malice. That's the weird thing. Nobody means to be cruel or be vicious by any means, but it's just that they want the coach to know their level, and this is how they feel they can show that. And I mean, the older I get, I can't speak for anybody else, but like the older I get, the more I see it coming, I guess is like the safe way to say it. And then I find myself just avoiding those rounds altogether. Where like before I'd be like, okay, now it's my time, maybe like to show somebody or put them in their place, kind of thing. Now I just like sit down, like, no, I'm good, I'm okay, thanks, man. Like I don't need to spar right now. And I don't know if it's good or bad for business per se, but it is good for my body. That's for sure. I don't.
Yeah. Man,
I don't have to prove anything.
I realize what's good for your body is good for business.
Actually, I was thinking about this. I can't remember if it was the first or second time we went to the PI together.
Yeah.
But it's like every single round I had, I was like fighting for my life, basically. But then you and I would go together, and it would be like some high-level things going on, but we're barely touching each other.
Yeah.
And it just shocked me. It's like all these kids that are like getting up to this level, and they're really successful in what they do already. Like I don't know what more there is to prove. But we're in there on a Friday morning. It's like 9:30 in the morning, and these kids are trying to take my head off. Oh, yeah. And I look in the cage, like people are bleeding, and I wonder why. And then you and I just go up, and, we five, and it's nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah, you'll find some different kinds of fighters over at the UFC Performance Institute.
Yeah.
Like you got these guys, they're hopeful to get signed to the UFC, and I think they want to impress somebody. I sparred with a couple of those guys. Some of them were pretty mellow, but intense but controlled.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely find some dudes trying to prove something there.
Absolutely, and it's almost as if their Contender Series fight was in that half an hour of sparring. I don't know. I can probably count on two hands how many times I've gone in and like I've done a glove touch to start the round, and then an immediate wheel kick comes to my face, and it's like they don't land, but it's just like why.
You know what's interesting about the Contender Series and the dudes over at the UFC PI? Do you remember Maha Shate? I think that's
yeah. And he's doing well now.
Yeah, he was like the only guy they sent over for the Contender that actually won his fight.
Yep.
I sparred with him over there at the UFC PI, and he was like the mellowest guy.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, just super mellow.
Yep.
Very like. I almost want to say low energy sparring, except for one moment he did a flying knee, caught me like right in the sternum. It was just perfectly placed. No malice behind it. Just
he's not trying to hurt you. He's just trying to experiment different things, like really up his tool belt. I mean,
but then if you watch his fight in the Contender, he did that exact same thing. He was kind of mellow, kind of low energy, and then he did that flying knee that just turned the tide of the fight. The exact same thing he did to me. I was like, I remember that.
He's good at he's surprisingly long too. Like his reach and his timing are really like spot on, and he knows how to use both together. Not just like be at a distance, but be at a striking distance and then a distance safe enough to where he's not getting clipped. Yeah. He's very good at that. He's a young man too, very young man. So
yeah, nice clinch game too. Very nice clinch.
Yep. Yeah, quite impressive. It's good that this year, considering everything that happened with COVID and China, has been the year for Chinese MMA to kind of start getting traction in the UFC. The sad thing is, I think that most of the guys who are winning over there have now relocated to the U.S. for all their training and stuff. Yeah. So I don't know if there's a reason or any like what the motivation is behind that, but I mean, so many guys they're out in Nevada. There's a few in California. There's a couple in Florida now, and then they're making that their home. And it's I don't know. It is wonderful to see all these guys getting recognition from the country, but nobody's staying here. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it's a bit strange.
After the lockdown, I mean it.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
It's understandable how many people up and skedaddled as soon as they could. I
have seen just today that JCK is opening a performance institute as well. It looks like. Oh
really? Yep. JCK.
Yep.
Where at?
I believe in Hainan. I haven't checked the location, but I'd assume that all their productions were in Haikou before in Hainan. So I would imagine that big building that they used for all their shows is probably going to be housing the gym, and they're also housing fighters as well. They're doing the same kind of thing the PI is doing here.
Yeah.
So.
You know who was doing that a while back? Kunlun Fight. They have where is it? It's over in blanking on the province. I've been there a bunch of times. Used to do commentary for their shows, but they have this amazing compound, and it's like inside of a mall, but it's like 3 floors. The first floor is the gym, and it's this giant gym, like basically like the size of the UFC PI. They got cages and rings and just hundreds and hundreds of meters of mats and so on. Then they've got the fighter dorms upstairs. And
okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
But they're primarily a kickboxing show.
Yeah.
But, they do some MMA shows once in a while, but that's more like sideshow sort of thing for them.
It's kickboxing's been so prevalent here for how long? I mean, MMA just really got here 10 years ago. Like got here. I mean, there's been a few fights before that. I mean, you've been in them.
Yeah.
But I think it really started picking up probably around like the golden era of the UFC, if you will, like when Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture reigned supreme. Like that's when it started becoming a global thing. And I think that's when it kind of started here. And then
kickboxing in China has an interesting history because right now, like most of the kickboxing shows in China will follow K1 rules ever since like 2009. There was this major corporation, the Bulgar Group. They put on a big show in Inner Mongolia, and after that, everybody started kind of doing the same thing, K1 rules. But before that, it was like all kinds of different rule sets for kickboxing. Sanda was fairly popular. I used to do Sanda fights back then. They do like Muay Thai or hybrid Muay Thai style fights. random fights where they wouldn't really explain the rules very well, but whatever the foreigner did was wrong and whatever the local guy did was right.
That seems about right.
But it's pretty well standardized into the K1 format right now. So, yeah.
Interesting. I've been to a few fights. Actually, I have been in an MMA fight where there were counts for knockdowns. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I got knocked down once, and the ref gave me a standing 8, and I thought that was very, very convenient. It is very odd. And the second time it was a slip, but they didn't even count. They just called it a TKO at that point, and it was just like, I guess we're not gonna have an MMA fight. We'll just.
I've seen that sort of stuff.
Oh, it was crazy. It's crazy.
All the time, man. Did I ever tell you about my first MMA fight here in China?
No.
Okay, it was weird, man. It was the show they used to call themselves Ultimate Wrestle. It was at the Xi'an University of Sport. It was like this show to promote the fledgling China top team. They got better, but back then it was weird. It was weird. So they recruited this bunch of foreigners. They're from all kinds of different countries: the U.S., Canada, France, all parts of Europe. But they called it China versus USA. And so, this ragtag group of foreigners from various countries walk in under the American flag, and like the Swedish guy is like, "What the heck, man?" Anyway, so there was like one fight that was normal, like just a normal fight, but the rest of them were just screwy. Like, I don't know. Do you know who Marcus Waters is? He's a jiu-jitsu coach. He used to coach at Tiger Muay Thai.
Maybe if I saw a face, but
anyway, he's very, very good jiu-jitsu, and he fights. What's his face? He used to fight in the UFC. Chinese dude. One of the early Chinese UFC fighters. It'll come back.
Oh, Ning.
No. Juma Bieke. Twarshuan. However you say his name. I'm probably saying it wrong. Anyway, Marcus goes out there, and he does a flying armbar. Beautiful, beautiful flying armbar. His opponent taps out. The referee holds up the opponent's arm. Marcus is like, "Wait a minute, I won. He tapped out. I did the flying armbar. It was cool. I'm watching this ringside like." Everyone just saw that. The referee's like, no, you lose. He wins. Anyway, next fight comes up. This fighter from the U.S., he stands there. The bell rings. The referee jumps out. He's like, "It's over." Then it's like, "The fight hasn't even started yet. You're knocked out." Like,
how do they justify that?
I have no idea. But every fight had like a screwy thing. My fight was kinda normal for about 2 minutes. So we go out there, we scrap for a little bit. He's a good Sanda fighter. Gets a takedown. I start playing guard a little bit because he doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. I do. He jumps on top of me. I sweep him. I start hammering with elbows from mount. And at one point, I realize he's not moving. I look up at the referee. He's like, "Continue." Like, he's out, man. He's out. It's like, "Continue." So I like throw these little ceremonial punches. Like, come on, man, just stop the fight. Anyway, the round ends. His cornermen drag him over to his corner to revive him. He comes out for round 2. Now, we're both pretty beat up, to be honest. He throws a right hand, catches me over the eye, opens up a small cut, a drop of blood falls out. The ring doctor throws in the towel. He cannot continue. The foreigner cannot continue. It's over. He's cut. Like, okay. Anyway, every fight was like that, except like 1, maybe 2. It was a mess. That kind of set the precedent for like the next 3-4 years, I would say.
Oh, I don't even know. Like, I've said it a few times. There needs to be an athletic commission here, but I don't know how they would function as like a governing body. It's just, man, it's crazy. I was actually very interested to know what was going on behind the scenes of the UFC Shanghai that was here. Like how that went. Like where did they get all of the referees? What kind of meetings? Like what was happening in the rules? What was happening during all of the weigh-ins? All of that stuff. Like, did there need to be licenses? Did there need to be?
Yeah, because you need licenses for all that stuff back in the U.S.
Yeah.
You want to be a cornerman, you need a license. You want to be a referee, you need a license.
Yeah. I mean, just to be an athlete, you have to have the national license and the state-by-state license. Yeah.
got to get all the tests and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been tested for anything in China?
No.
Yeah.
No. I had the hydration test for when I see. That was about it.
Hydration test. Okay.
Well, they also test for narcotics and stuff but it's
For NFC?
yeah, but I don't know how anything could really be set because it's literally like the day before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not sure. And this was back, I think 2015, 2016.
Yeah, when I fought in Singapore, I got tested for everything, like literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in China, though, yeah, never had a test.
Yeah, the only one I've had was the Singapore-based promotion of 1FC.
Yeah.
Huh.
Makes sense.
Oh,
So-
I mean, I'm sure that there's been kids that I fought up north, and I've never hit somebody so hard in my life, and I never hit somebody so many times in my life, and they just blink at you. You know, it's like, you're like, what are you on? Like, what kind of horse steroids are you taking that this isn't even affecting you at all? Like, it actually made me feel less than for about 15 minutes. Like I was just tired. I've never been tired in my life hurting
You
somebody
just
or
have to
trying
strangle those dudes, man.
I did that. Thankfully, I did. But my God, like I broke
It's the
my
only
hand
way.
punching his head. Like I hit him in the face with the knee like 4 times in a row, and he just came up and just blinked it off. It's like,
I had a kickboxing match like that, man. There's a great technique I'd love. Use a quarter Nelson to break a guy's posture and bring him right into the knee. You can do it with boxing gloves on. As long as he reaches for an underhook, you can tie that up. And I love it, man. Bash this dude in the head like 4 times with the knee. And again, just blinking.
Yeah.
Just blinking. What was crazy about that fight, I found out afterwards, the dude was 15 years old. He had the body of an adult man, like chiseled like a Roman statue.
oh my God.
And I was like, I just punched a child.
You get arrested in America for that.
Yes. At first I was like feeling pretty proud about my performance. Like, yeah, I did a good job.
We were here on the Felony Podcast with Ramsey Dewey.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about not getting tested for anything.
My
and
God.
children and child abuse. Man,
This took a turn. This took a dark turn
this
today.
took a very dark turn.
We can't do podcasts in the gym anymore. It's just
China's a different kind
it's
of
the
country.
upside down.
But yeah, they didn't tell me, like, you go into a fight, you expect it to be like, at least coming from America, you can't even get into most like fight venues until you're
Yeah.
like 21 because
Yeah.
they tend to be like nightclubs and stuff. But yeah, man, I did not expect to be fighting a teenager.
No, should you expect it? If you did expect it, there's something wrong. Like
Let
that.
alone the teenager with the body of an adult man. Once again, I can't stress that enough.
He's probably on the same stuff that my guy was on. Maybe they were sharing the same doctor. Who knows?
Maybe.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's madness. Yeah, the lack of commission here has led to some interesting stories, to say the least. I had a Thai fight once. It was just like Muay Thai rules, and I mean, there was no warm-up pads in the back. There was no water. There was nothing. There was this tiny, like, funnel heater. This was in the middle of winter in what was it? It was on Anshan. Like we were up north, and
Yeah.
everybody, like, you can breathe. You can see your breath come out, whatever you're doing, and huddled around the heater with the 2 Thailand guys there. Like there's like maybe 20 people there. You know, the 2 Thailand guys just like hugging each other around this thing. Like I had this giant winter jacket on. I'm trying to warm up and throw punches and stuff, and it's in this high school gymnasium. And I literally have to clear the crowd who are all smoking cigarettes, just like I'm like
It's
waiting through the tobacco
shocking
cloud.
how much smoking there is.
Oh
at
my
fight
God.
events, man.
And I go on. I find out I'm fighting a guy who has beaten Buakal. The guy's name is Bing Wong, and he actually fought and beat Buakal before him. I think it was like my 3rd Thai fight, and I didn't know what I was doing at all. Like I think I was bleeding within the first 10 seconds. I was like, I'm looking for kicks. An elbow hits me in the eye. I'm looking at his elbow, and then a punch hits me in the ear, and then I think he kicked my leg off, put it back on, then he kicked it off again. But man, I didn't walk right for like 3 weeks. I think I had like 20 stitches leaving there, and all I could think about, I still to this day, what cigarette are these people smoking that smells so bad? Like it was, I don't know how to describe it. It was like if gasoline could burp. I don't know how else to say it. Like if gasoline could burp, that was the smell of this cigarette. And I remember it had like this crazy rainbow filter, and like everybody, all these people had the same cigarette. It's shocking. Like it literally, I think I got a tan that day walking into the ring.
Oh man, it's shocking me how many fighters smoke in China.
Yeah.
Like, I think at least where I come from, it's kind of almost self-evident. Professional athletes don't smoke.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just not something you do. It's something that
see, admittedly, I did when I was still an amateur, but then I was caught by my opponent one night after I won, and he saw me in the parking lot. He said, "I lost to a smoker," and I felt so much shame. I felt so much shame. Like I started quitting that day, and I smoked for 14 years. I quit that day, and you know, I haven't had one since I was pro, and like I just made a point not to. But then like you said, you got here. And these guys like warming up with like Baijiu and Accept Wolves.
Yeah.
And Accept Wolves is, by the way, a very popular brand of smoke here. For you guys who don't know, it's this one of the big ones that you see in the boxes, in all the display cases at the grocery store. They're everywhere. But yeah, everybody smokes. I don't understand how that works. How does it? Do you feel like maybe that they use it in their training? So it's then like the 9 minutes they don't smoke, their lungs are in overdrive. It's almost like having a mask on while you're running. You know what I mean? Like if they're doing a couple kilometers while puffing on one.
I don't know, man.
And then they're acting without it. It's just like they're Super Saiyan all of a sudden.
It's got to shorten their careers.
Oh, I'm sure.
It has to. But not just that. It makes me think like there was this Muay Thai fighter, Chinese Muay Thai fighter I knew, and he was outstanding. And then after one of his fights, he gets out of the ring and he just starts smoking. I'm like, how good could you be if you didn't do that? Like, how much better could you be if not for that? Man, I can't even wrap my head around it.
Dumbfounding. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some secret, like, Chi TCM cigarettes we don't know about, and they're actually performance-enhancing drugs.
Whoa. The real reason they don't test in China. The performance-enhancing cigarettes. What good?
The PECs. Oh, man. It comes with a case of Mao Tai, and that's the champion belt right there. Yeah, I don't know. I'll never understand some of those things.
You know what the most performance-enhancing thing is in combat sports, or what it would be? Not drugs. Not cutting weight. That would be the most performance-enhancing thing a fighter could do. Just not cutting excessive weight. Like, seriously. Think about how drained you get after...
I have thought about that many times, especially like... well, I hate to give them any kind of credit, but 1FC actually has it right a little bit with this. Like, you can't cut too much. If you don't pass hydration tests, then you can't fight for them.
Yeah, they do those tests repeatedly throughout the week.
Right, but I mean, it took somebody dying for them to figure that out. So, but yeah, it always, when I see, even now, like when I'm watching, for instance, that UFC card over the weekend, you know, like everybody was different weights because of the whole mix up, because Chimaev just didn't feel like cutting weight, whatever. But then it's like, okay, if you started at 200 pounds, you started at 200 pounds, you guys are essentially still the same size. Why are you killing yourselves to go down to 170? Like, why not just fight at middleweight? Why not? If everybody's the same size anyway, just bump up a weight class. Like, if everybody did that, nobody would have to cut weight anymore. But it's...
Yeah, a lot of times it comes down to contractual obligations. Yeah. Like, before 1FC was 1FC, they were martial combat, and I got a last-minute replacement fight with a dude who turned out to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, and that didn't end well. But what I didn't know, what I was told at first, was it was a catch weight at like 165, something like that. I was walking around like 175 at the time. I was like, okay, that's fine, like a 10-pound weight cut, sure, no problem. I get there, I find out not only am I fighting, a world champion I wasn't expecting to fight, but I got to cut down to the teeny tiny division, 145. If you look up my Sherdog record, it says I weigh like 147 pounds, and that makes me mad, and I'll tell you why. Because I almost killed myself, literally almost killed myself, making 145 pounds, stepping on the scale of 145, and they didn't even bother to record
you need the credit for that. Oh,
they
man.
said 147, like I missed weight or something. No, man, no. Anyway, infuriated about a lot of things. But
well, that is the real fight. That honestly is the real fight. Because I mean, that takes a month to do sometimes.
Yes.
You know, a fight's gonna last 15, 25 minutes tops. Weight cut might have to be over weeks, almost a month, sometimes 2 months for some people.
Oh man, the amount of work it took to just sweat off 30 pounds. They gave me less than 24 hours to do it. It was insane. So I get to the hotel and the sauna's broken. I'm like, how am I going to do this? I put on every article of clothing I brought with me, which wasn't really that much, and I go to the hotel gym. They have a treadmill, and I run on the treadmill for hours, until I can't run anymore, and I take a little break, and then I get on and run some more. I'm like, how much weight am I down? Like 3 kilos. Oh, only 27 more to go. Anyway, I was dead, absolutely dead for that fight. Couldn't even move.
That's a lot of weight.
A lot.
That's gonna damage your insides, I'm sure. Over like
I didn't feel normal for like a year, to be honest. It's man, bounced around.
You know, this should actually be what the over-aggressive students should do to prove to coaches. It's not beat the coach in a sparring match. Go cut 10 pounds today. Then we'll talk.
Yeah. Cut 10
I'll give you 2 hours. Go cut 10 pounds. Yeah. That should be actually a test of the MMA ranking. That's the real fight, man. That weight cut stuff.
Yeah, man.
I mean, especially. I mean, you can speak on this because you're an American too. But I don't know how. Like you've always been more disciplined. I feel like in your diet than I have. But myself, and like the team I was on before, we were always like hardworking guys. We worked real hard, but then we ate real hard. Like the moment we stepped on the scale, whatever junk food you could find, you've been thinking about from like you stuffed it in your face. You had a beer at night. Like, I mean, you didn't get drunk the night before you fight, but like if you just cut 20 pounds or something, you don't want to go and have a beer and a steak and then some like junk food.
Yeah.
That we all did it. Like my whole team did it. Everybody. And you know, now looking back, all the science and stuff is out now where it's like, oh, you need to come back clean. You know, like, and by that I mean like eat proper. If you just killed yourself and lost all this weight, get your electrolytes, get all of your nutrients and everything that you've deprived your body of. I mean, like, no sugar. We need this like Lake 20 blue sugar. Like, give me some Smarties and some Chewy Sweet Tarts and call it a day.
There is an ideal way to rehydrate, to eat after fighting. There are foods that will be like a brick in your stomach, and foods that will help give you energy the next day. At the same time, my personal experience is you're often not going to have access to all those foods, especially if you're traveling to fight.
Especially in China,
if you're a professional fighter fighting in Asia, Southeast Asia, China, anywhere around here, you're usually going to be traveling, so you're going to be stuck with whatever you can find. You can find it at a corner store, a gas station, something like that. That's often what you'll end up eating. Man, there was this fight I did in Shandong. I cut a little bit of weight, not too much, but a little bit of weight for that fight, so I'm feeling depleted. I'm looking forward to eating afterward. And they invite all the fighters. The promoter invites all the fighters to this dinner. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what they had for dinner? Cicadas. Large.
At least they stopped buzzing.
Insects. That was the main course. I was like, that's it. No rice. Apparently they don't eat rice in Shandong. But we ate bugs before the fight.
We were in Kazakhstan for a fight, and it was the same kind of deal. But like it was just rice and like just like that, like the bastard bok choy. Not even like the regular bok choy, but like the bastard bok choy.
Yeah.
And they gave it like as soon as you get them cutting weight, they hand all the fighters the same little tray. We're kind of looking around like, is this for us or is this like something you're donating to a soup kitchen nearby? I don't know what's going on. Because the funny thing is, you go anywhere in Kazakhstan, there's meat everywhere. I mean, like delicious meat. And we ended up thankfully making friends with the promoters of the show, and like they took us out to this. I think I ate about like 10 pounds of horse that night. I ate so much horse meat. It was great, man. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
I've never had horse meat. How is it?
Oh, dude, it's you
probably better than cicadas, I'm guessing.
I mean, I've never eaten a cicada, but Is it cicada or cicada? I don't even know how to
I
pronounce
think
it.
both are acceptable alternate pronunciations.
But just not acceptable meals.
It's
I'm thinking about now. I've stepped on one of those, and the crunch it makes is not pleasant. I could not imagine.
It makes the same crunch in your mouth.
Oh,
'cause
God.
You can't shell them. Like the inside tastes kind of like shrimp, but you can't shell them like shrimp. You have to stick the whole shell in your mouth, legs and all, and you feel the prickly legs on your tongue. And it's got that crunch. It's like you eat the shell, the chitin and everything. It's not bad, but it's not good either.
That makes me sad. I feel like that actually tops beating a 15-year-old as the worst story we've had today.
I think that was actually the same fight.
Oh,
I ate the cicadas and beat up a kid on the same day, man.
That poor kid ate cicada and got beat up by an adult in the same day. This weekend sucks.
Oh man.
That kid's never gonna fight again. That was his retirement there, right there.
Well, what was even weirder about that fight, like afterward, like at the hotel, the kid comes up to me and he wants to take selfies with me. I'm like, okay, cool, I guess, maybe. This feels weird, but sure, why not? Posted on social media, this is the guy who abused me. Get him. I don't know.
Your photo's somewhere in a police station. You're a wanted man in several provinces now.
Yeah.
Man, the fight stories that are here, like people, you cannot tell people back home and have half of them believe. Like it's.
Well, yeah, you see it a lot in Thailand, like kids fighting. Like if you go to Lumpini Boxing Stadium, for example, after the main show, you'll see literal children, like small children, fighting, full contact, Muay Thai, elbows and all, up on the stage, but even like the main cards, they're often teenagers. And these guys generally start fighting 5 years old, and you'll have teenagers fighting grown men. It's not uncommon. Nobody thinks twice about it. In America, once again, that's a crime. That's a serious crime.
Well, they're doing more of the children's events here in China, I've noticed. But I mean, they're all padded up, and I mean, I don't honestly know how you have an MMA fight with chest protectors, shin guards, elbow pads, and headgear. Like I feel like that's going
It's
to
more of a liability than anything.
That's going to take away a lot of the elements. Exactly, like that turns it into a Thai fight.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
Or a glorified Sanda match.
I don't see how that works. So how you can fight like just grabbing someone's head for a guillotine instead of just like a smaller motion. You're having to like swim over now.
Yeah.
Get around a giant.
And then you have a bigger handle. Turn that front headlock into a torture device. If you.
Well, I mean, really, what if they just squeeze the helmet and like the visor busts? I mean, that could blind somebody.
True.
I have no idea.
With the visors on, the face covering. Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, the more I see this, and it's becoming more popular here, like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, those are not that hard to break, man. No. I mean, it's fine if you're doing, like, light contact sparring in the gym. If you're a little kid, you don't want to get poked in the nose, and you don't know how to keep your chin down. But for full contact fighting, man, forget that.
That should be a big no-no. But again, lack of athletic commission. Who knows? The madness that is the Middle Kingdom.
Indeed. I'm actually a little worried about the prospect of athletic commissions in China, because I think it would take them just as much time to get it right as it took them to essentially start, how can I put this? To start doing some decent fight shows here. That took a while, man.
So I really believe that JCK might be the next big, like, they are doing it proper. I got to give props to my buddy Chao Bo. Wherever you are, hopefully you're watching it this long into the podcast to hear that. But man, he told me about this promotion over a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago. And he's like, yeah, they're doing things right, you know what I mean? And if you watch the shows, they have a lot of these small nuanced things that maybe a lot of people don't notice. Like they have all the ceremonial, traditional China style, like come out, like introduce the fighter kind of thing. Like UFC doesn't do that. They have press conferences, they have the live weigh-ins, but they literally parade you down here in China, and like they make you wave to the crowd, do all this stuff.
Yeah, there's a bit of pageantry before the fights. You don't see in the US.
All the pomp and stunts is there, and then now, like, if you watch a JCK show, you notice all of the fighters like bow to the referees, they bow to the guy greasing their face, and it's not a big thing, but it just shows like they're going literally like these small steps, and they're taking all these notes. Everybody's wearing the same kind of shorts, which is again not a huge thing, but it's the first time I've watched the show in China outside of UFC or ONE FC. That is like checking grease, that are checking, does this guy have tire oil on right now? Does he have his nails cut? Does he have a cup on? Is his mouth guard in? Like, they're doing all the actual things that they're supposed to be doing. A couple of our team has fought in there over the past year or two. And, they have to do all the rules meeting. They have all the proper things going on. And as I mentioned before in our talk, they're now opening a performance institute of their own. So it's like they've kind of set their own corner, and like they're starting a precedence now to where I believe, this is just my personal opinion, but in the next 3-5 years, they're going to be the promontory of MMA in this country. I mean, that $1 million RMB tournament, is a great way to start.
Huh?
I mean, if you got to beat 4 or 5 guys and you get paid for each of those fights, and then there's $1 million RMB bonus, like, you're going to bring out the best talent in the country.
Yeah, potentially. Ruff tried that way back in the day. That's oh man. They didn't understand fight promotion in China though. Like they thought if they just threw money at the problem,
right,
it would solve all the issues. But yeah, do you know anything about them? The Randic Ultimate Fighting Federation. They're defunct now.
They were just kind of like taking the downhill turn when I got here.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I fought on their first event, and yeah, it was. That's where I had my skull broken, and it was a whole issue. But yeah, I remember they advertised a $1 million RMB prize for the tournament winner. Wang Guan ended up winning that one, and they locked all the fighters in with non-compete contracts, and so essentially they got all of the pretty much most of the existing MMA fighters in China at that time. There weren't a lot, and locked them into non-compete agreements. And so when the UFC came and tried to do the Ultimate Fighter China, they didn't have any MMA fighters, like no real experienced professionals to choose from. And so they had a few amateurs. They had a yoga instructor who literally never even sparred before. Did you ever see the Ultimate Fighter China?
No.
Oh man, it was weird. I don't know if they aired it. You can still see it on the internet.
I want to find that. I want to see that now.
They had Kung Lee as the host.
Oh wow!
And the whole time he's kind of looking around like, what the heck is going on here? But yeah, so all the experienced fighters were locked into a non-compete agreement with Ruff. Meanwhile, they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel, getting like a yoga instructor to appear on Ruff, right? And this was a really weird episode. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched this part. So it's time to spar. The yoga instructor goes out there, and he like gets hit once, and he runs to the corner and just starts crying, like curls up in a ball. And I'm expecting the other guys might make fun of him because it's what are you doing on the Ultimate Fighter if you've never sparred before? But they all walk over and they're super nice, and they pat him on the back, and they're like, "It's okay, bro. It's okay, man. You did what you could." It's this is so different than the American mentality.
I'm now at a loss for words. Like I have to watch this. I have to see this.
It's weird. It's one of the weirdest things the UFC has ever produced. It's probably the weirdest thing the UFC has ever produced.
Mayhem Miller.
Well,
they kind of made.
Outside of that.
Okay.
But seriously, watch the Ultimate Fighter China.
Okay. I didn't know it existed. I had no idea.
2009-ish, maybe 2010. I don't remember the exact date, but.
That's must-see TV now. I have to watch this.
Yeah, it's. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just the strangest fight-related thing with the UFC name on it I've ever seen in my life.
I'm very curious, and I want to know what does that yoga instructor do now? You know what I mean? Like, did his appearance in the UFC or as an Ultimate Fighter kind of kill his yogi status? Where like I don't know, that's the violent. I don't want to go to his classes. But then at the same time, like you're not going to be a fighter.
They got like the most hippy dippy guy they can, and I don't know if that was a ploy to boost the ratings or cause some drama in the Ultimate Fighter house or whatever it was. But it didn't. It just made it weird. But man, there was a bunch of sensitive guys on that show.
I have to see
Like
this.
the literal polar opposite of what you see on the.
Who ended up
regular
winning?
fighter show.
What did the winner get?
What did the winner do?
I mean, like
I don't know.
in America, the winner gets a contract.
Yeah. I don't remember if the winner of that show ended up getting a contract or if they just ended up scrapping the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I don't think it ever aired in the U.S. They filmed it in English with like an English narrator and Kung Lee speaking English and so on. But yeah, I don't believe it ever aired in the U.S.
I hope not. I hope not.
But I think it's time maybe the UFC should try that again because there's actual talent, many of whom are affiliated
for
with
China,
the
you mean?
UFC.
Yeah.
over
Oh
the
my God.
UFCPI.
Well, they're doing that Road to UFC now.
Okay.
Have you seen this? It's
Yeah. That's right.
I believe the show is in Singapore, and it's pretty much like Southeast Asia, as far as I can tell. It's like country versus country, but then at the end of the tournament, the guys are wherever you're from. It actually looks like in the featherweight division is going to be 2 Chinese finalists, based on my predictions anyway. And it's guys from the PI. So they are doing something like that, but I think they're vetting the competition a little bit better this time. So we'll see. It's on the way up. I mean, there's no way it cannot be, especially after watching the success of like Song Yadong, Song Kanan, and Li Jingliang. Like these guys are they've paved the way now, and I think the road is here. So we'll see.
Yeah. So, Kyle, you got a new gym here. I don't know if the viewers at home have noticed, but this is a new gym.
Yeah, it's a bigger space, different location. I like it. There's a lot more to do and a lot more to clean all the time, but yeah, it's nice
a
to.
lot more mat space.
Oh, that's
Nice.
wonderful.
Nice
Thank you,
weight
man.
room over there.
That's that part is my favorite part, but my least favorite part. Putting that together, I still have scars and like just marks all over my body from things. I've been doing jobs I don't know how to do fully, but yeah, it was an education. But yeah, it's together.
So you're saying that if I go over there and use the cable cross machine, it might fall on top of me?
No. I'm saying that I put it together and it fell on top of me, and then I had to pay people to put it together because I couldn't do it myself. So I couldn't figure anything out. So thankfully, everything is safe here. No worries. You can come and train at Animal and not get hurt. But my God, these things whip my ass. I have so many just stupid little cuts and bruises and scrapes still. And it's been like a month, but they're like, you know what? Maybe I need some Chinese cigarettes to help me heal.
There's performance enhancing.
I gotta get something to get the melanin or whatever in my skin. I need something. I'm not healing properly. I need some of that TCM tobacco.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It's a dark path.
It's a slippery slope, but I might have to get in the sled. I don't know. I'm not healing. I don't heal anywhere near the way I used to. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just age. I think it's a lack of sleep for one, for sure, man.
Yeah, you got small children. I remember going through this.
Ugh.
It gets better, Kyle. It gets better. Don't despair.
Thank goodness, my God.
It does.
I am exhausted.
Like when my kids were young, I think I probably slept about 2 hours a day or a night, depending on the day.
I look at the camera right now, and you and I are sitting here, and now I am a younger man than you are, but if I look at the screen, I look like you're elder by about 20 years. Like, you're aging like wine, I'm aging like milk. This is horrible. I'm curdled, he's getting better. It's terrible, man. It's terrible.
No, it gets better, that. But I remember feeling like this, like I'm falling apart. Like, you know that feeling if you're sleep deprived and it just feels like your joints just aren't attached right
You're hitting it on the head right there. I mean, literally, like the day the foot injury happened, I think I retired that day. There's nothing beneficial yet at all. Like, I mean, who knows? Maybe some magical offer will come across the table in the next few months. I don't know. But as soon as that happened, all I could think of was like, I can't fight again, man. I can't. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm happy moving into like the professional wrestling career. I think that's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna enjoy playing a character, so to speak. It's not too much of a reach.
Yeah. How's the pro wrestling doing? If you don't know, Kyle is also a professional wrestler.
Not yet officially. In training, but I have my first match in November, And now, that was a worry as well when I got hurt. It was like, am I gonna be able to do this match now? And the doctor told me, yeah, you'll be slower for a few weeks, but you'll have time to get ready for this at least. So that's cool. And like I said, I'm looking forward to playing a character. There's the federation I'm joining, the promotion, is mainly a heel roster. There's a whole bunch of bad guys, and I get to go on as myself, but I get to be a face character. So it's kind of funny. Like growing up, I always watched pro wrestling and stuff, and I was always a face guy. I liked Hulk Hogan. I liked Ultimate Warrior. I liked the good guys. I didn't like the bad guys. But then as I get older, I realized the bad guys are the ones that have more fun playing the character. Yeah. It's easier to be a bad guy because you can just say all those horrible things in your head, but you're not meaning them. Everybody knows it's a comic book. Basically, you're acting out.
Yeah. They're the glue that holds the whole thing together.
Right. Dude, that'd be so fun. Happen. That'd be so fun just to be like that, the mean guy, and attack everybody, shove a referee. Oh, I'd love it. But the way it's unfolding is I'm going to be a face. And I'm happy about it, like my kids will look at it in their developing years coming up, and they're like, oh, cool, Daddy's a good guy, so there's an upside to it.
I've wondered about this a little bit, whether it's harder to be a heel or a face.
That's what I mean. I think, especially when we have classes on Sundays, and we'll do matches, we'll make up matches on the spot. It is so much easier to be heel. In my opinion, I'm not trying to offend anybody by saying it, but it's even the moves, there's more at your disposal. If you're in a spot, maybe you can't pull off a certain slam or a certain suplex or a certain whip. Just poke somebody in the eye, give them a groin flick. That's completely acceptable if you're a heel. Whereas if you're a face, you gotta kind of take a beating a little bit. You gotta
follow the rules, but also you have to be likable.
Exactly.
People have to like you. Take Hulk Hogan, for example. He had this crazy charisma. Yeah. That just exuded through the TV screen when you watched him.
To be honest, this is something I'm kind of struggling with. Is I don't know if I watch old fights, even the fight videos they're playing here and stuff, I can kind of see that where I try to appeal to a crowd, but it is in actually this kind of is relevant to what we were talking about before. I'm coming in as the foreigner. So I am literally trying to win these people over. I'm trying to speak their language. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to interact. But
that's
now,
in stark contrast to what we traditionally saw in China over the last 15 years, where the foreigners were often framed as the heel, in real combat sports events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, my first fight in China, the producers come with the cameras and they're like, all right, look at the camera and look mean. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? They're like, and say this line, and they give me some line, I'm gonna kill you and tear your guts out, and like pro wrestling heel stuff, and I'm like, really? And they're like, shout it louder. I'm like, I don't want to.
We have met a few people over the years, and one of them happened to be an actor here. And actually, I was in a couple of his smaller production movies, and one of them I had a line where I had to bump a guy's shoulder. He's walking with his girlfriend. I had to bump him in the shoulder in the middle of the street, turn to him and say, "Get out of my way, you Chinese monkey." Wow. And it's just
you get canceled in America.
Oh my God, that is something you get sued over, and it's just now say it, but make your face angrier. So
make everyone believe you're a racist.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly what it felt like. So I guess I'm not good at that. I was not good in that at all, and that's why I'm excited about being a face. But the challenges of the acting part are going to be harder, I think. The class is so fun. The process, I love it. It's so fun. I feel like I'm actually getting to act out and live out a childhood dream. I get to be Sting. That's cool.
Do you got a baseball bat and a trench coat?
No, I don't. And I do have a mask, but I was asked by the promoter, the guy you met actually at the press conference, Adrian. Yeah, they want me to keep more to my background and what I actually am as a person, but just kind of play up the eat your vegetables and vitamins kids kind of part of it. You know what I mean? I have to Hoganize it for lack of a better term.
Okay.
I'm gonna make that a word. I have to Hoganize it.
Hoganize it. I like that.
I'm Hoganizing.
Be like unto Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
I
You
am.
do all kinds of public service announcements, man.
But I feel like I'm not a good actor. Like I feel like that's where I have to.
That's
I
a
really
weird
have to hone
skill
the
set.
craft.
I used to take acting for granted until I tried to do it. A friend of mine back in the U.S. He asked me to act in a short film. He was like, "Yeah, you got the right look, you got the right voice. I love it. Come act in my film." And there were a couple of more experienced actors on set, and I had the lead role, like a pretty big part. And I'm trying to deliver these lines, and I realize I sound stupid.
That's my exact word. Yeah, I feel so awkward. I feel so
Especially
awkward.
next to these guys who actually know how to act and make it sound real and normal and authentic.
Well, it's like in the fight stuff, you know, it's organic. Like you're coming out, you hear your name, you walk out, and it's just it's natural. Like, you go out, you wave to the crowd, like maybe you make eye contact with somebody, and you're like, hey, you know, like thank you for cheering for me. Like that's the message I'm sending with my body. But now it's like I don't know. There's this whole predetermined storyline that is supposed to be taking place, and I have to fill this role that is me, but as an enhanced me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. It's the only thing I can compare it to is like Tom Anderson trying to become Neo. You know, but I have no idea right now. I'm trying to.
Like an exaggeration of yourself, an enhanced you. That's interesting.
I'm trying to learn. Like I have learned new ones. I'm no expert by any means. Like this is my first match, you know. So I'm very aware of that and my station in the pecking order and all that stuff. And I feel like athletically, due to my background, I'm able to kind of beat the curve, so to speak, where I can learn some things quicker and I can adapt myself physically quicker. But then I'm getting older, so like then I have that worry, and like that little worry seeps into my acting part of it, and it's like, okay, now do you believe yourself as much as you think these people should believe you and what you're supposed to be right now? And that's where like all this like awkward stuff just balls up in me, and then I go and I try to, even when we're like having like matches in class and we're like clapping for each other, you know, we're booing each other, I start wondering like, man, like am I as believable as I need to be? And it sucks having that doubt because it
takes you out of the game.
If I had doubt in a fight, I would just try a different technique, try a different, you know, like, oh, my kickboxing's not working, okay, wrestle him. My jiu-jitsu's not working, okay, stand back up, try to punch him. Now it's like, your acting sucks, bro. What are you gonna do? What am I gonna do? I just like be quiet and just like stare at somebody until they clap? Like,
it's like any other skill set. You just gotta invest the time.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. But
yeah, that's interesting. Like, be an enhanced you. It makes me think like, imagine for a minute what somebody who doesn't know you thinks. They walk in the gym, they see that giant wall of title belts over there. Kyle basically owns every title in China over there, and they're like, whoa, this one guy has all those. He must be the best fighter in the universe, right? He must be amazing. He must be larger than life. I imagine this goes through people's minds, right? Especially if they.
I don't know. I haven't asked, but I get what you're saying. Like they walk in, they see a little tiny guy with a giant moon boot on. It's like, so these are yours, really, bro? Yeah. That's got to be a bit of a disappointment. Now you say it like that.
But yeah, just take that as motivation for your character, though. Like just think like, be the guy that everybody thinks you are when they walk in the door for the first time.
Well, I plan to, you know, I have a little bit of time left where I'm going to really basically do some mirror talking. You know, I try to find the voice and the energy level to do it all, but it's nothing I'm good at naturally, for sure. Like I don't have your radio voice. I definitely don't have the height, and I don't know. I felt more like the character when I was actively fighting. You know, like it was easy to be that guy because you had to be that guy over the next 15 minutes, next 25 minutes. Now it's like I haven't fought in a few years. All I can think about now is like, what am I going to cook my daughter for dinner? Is my son have enough milk today? Like these are not the traits that should be going in there with like the chest puffing and like the crowd chanting and everybody clapping in unison like that. I had to channel that somehow, and I'm struggling finding the ways.
Yeah. Right. You know, I haven't had a professional fight since 2011. That's when I retired because of the injury. But I get asked this a lot by my YouTube viewers. something like, well, you haven't fought for so long, so how do you like keep up your confidence as a coach, as an instructor, and so on? Like how do you know what you're doing is still legit? And the answer is pretty simple, man. You just get out there and train and keep doing it and keep testing it out, and you understand how the physical universe works.
You just get out there and train.
Yeah.
It's almost like it should be your catchphrase or something.
It's almost as if it should, man. I was filming one of my Q&A with the coach videos last night, actually, and this guy sent in this question, and I started answering, and I realized after about 10 minutes, I basically just repeated "get out there and train" for like 10 minutes straight in different words. I was like, should I even release this one? It seems kind of redundant.
It ain't bright if it's the truth, right?
But yeah, there's so many questions that can be answered with just get out there and train. Like, how do I get better? Get out there and train. How do I overcome anxiety and performance anxiety as a fighter? Get out there and train. How do I become more technical? Get out there and train. You know, just fill in the blank.
Yeah.
It's the answer to so many questions.
It's a master key.
Yeah.
It really is. I like it.
Including feeling like, oh, I haven't done this in a long time. I got a bum leg right now. Busy with the kids. You know what? Don't focus on what you can't do. Just do what you can.
Yeah.
Focus on what you can. Right? Your leg's broke. Get buffed in your upper body, man. Yeah. Why not?
Oh, that's pretty much all I can do. So
what else are you gonna do with the time?
Right?
Get strong up here. Get
trying, man. Trying. We're only. What is it now? 6 days into the leg injury, so, well, the foot injury. So we'll see. I've been walking faster every day with this boot, and so I want to see what it looks like. I'll take the inner layer and the sock off tonight and see what colors come out. Oh, it's like a bag of Skittles the other day. It was disgusting. And it's in weird spots too. Yeah, dude, it's like blue and purple in between here, and there's like a big red streak on the side of, I don't know. But yeah, as long as I can walk, like.
That was a fun sound coming from the mat over there.
Yeah, that pretty serendipitous timing too. As long as I can walk, I'll get it done. So yeah, like I said, the physical part is not what gets me. It's mainly the acting. But again, I just have to get out there and train, figure it out.
Invest the time. That's true for acting. You can train for acting, train for fighting, everything.
Yeah, man.
So, that seems like a pretty good segue to tell the folks at home to get out there and train also. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now get out there and train. Thank you, Kyle.
My pleasure, man. Thank you. Nice.